In May, Portland Public Schools will ask voters to approve the renewal of a $1.83 billion property tax bond, with the majority of those funds earmarked to modernize Ida B. Wells, Jefferson, and Cleveland high schools. Those renovation plans are coming as the district has been seeing declining enrollment numbers. District has been citing those falling enrollment numbers as it weighs other cuts amid a $40 million budget deficit. As this week's issue of Willamette Week points out, PPS has a math problem and asks the question, if they build it, will they come? To break it down, we're joined by Joanna Hou, education reporter for Willamette Week. And Joanna, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Walk us through the enrollment numbers, if you can, Joanna, and projection for the coming years.
Yeah, so the current high school enrollment for Portland Public Schools is about 13,100 students, and Portland Public Schools partners with Portland State University's Population Research Center for its enrollment forecast. And so using the latest fully available data from 2023 to 24, they project that in 10 years, so that'd be 2033 to 34, sorry, a lot of numbers, the school would see 10,800 high schoolers, so that's falling quite a bit. And right now the district is set to build about a total capacity of 15,200, which is already much higher than the current enrollment, which is not projected to increase over the next couple of years.
Well, that's a big enrollment drop, a big number you're talking about. You talked to PPS board members about this. How do they justify the rebuilding plans, knowing these numbers coming down the road?
The school board made a promise to voters in 2012 at the start of these high school modernization bonds. The logic behind the promise was very much that every single kid in Portland Public Schools, because so many of the facilities in the building are aging, that every single student would ultimately be able to attend at least one nice modernized school in the district. And so that was the logic behind modernizing the high schools. And they've done 6 of them so far. And so people are kind of pushing for this to be the last push of sorts. The other argument is that these are short-term projections, so somewhere between 5 and 10 years. And people on the school board basically argue that these high schools are meant to serve Portland for the next 100 years. And they want those high schools to be kind of a part of revitalizing Portland and bringing families in. And they basically argue that a new, nicer facility could help attract students and families back into Portland.
How does the wider community feel about this? I know you've been talking to folks out there.
Yeah, I think there's pretty broad support for the school bond, to be honest. I think that a lot of people really do value public education and school facilities and understand kind of the logic of the school board. But I do think there's a lot of heightened concern recently, especially with this school bond, around the enrollment figures and on what they mean. I think that the calculus and the math is kind of getting to some different voters, including former school board members who have expressed concern about whether the school board is acting with fiscal responsibility in terms of this bond.
Joanna, we thank you for your time today. Appreciate all your numbers, all your reporting. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can read the entire article in the latest edition of Willamette Week on newsstands now or online at wweek.com.